Welcome to the episode 22 summary of the Reading Finnegans Wake in 200 Sessions podcast, where we analyze Finnegans Wake by James Joyce 3 pages at a time. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. So have you ever heard of a book that's basically famous for being unreadable? The kind of book that looks more like a secret code or maybe just, complete nonsense? Well, today we're cracking open James Joyce's Finnegans Wake. And I promise, in the next few minutes, we'll uncover the surprisingly simple story of a sleeping giant hidden right inside its pages.
Okay, let's just dive right in. What you're looking at is a real sentence from Finnegans Wake. And yeah, at first glance, words like lion dub and flag, they make the whole thing feel like a complete maze, right?
The language just seems like a waterfall, bizarre invented words. It's almost like listening to a dozen different languages all being spoken at once from inside a dream. But what if I told you that hidden inside all of that verbal chaos, there's a clear and powerful story? We're going to decode a few pages right now to uncover this tale of a giant's fall and his promised return. Our story kicks off with a character, an unpleasant bullocky, who, in a drunken rage, starts chucking stones at a gate. Now, to really get what happens next, you have to grasp Joyce's main technique. He doesn't just use words, he actually builds them. He packs multiple ideas, different histories, and whole languages into a single brand new creation.
Let's see this thing in action. When the text says the man is not guilty, Joyce has fused two ideas together. It means he's not just guilty of the crime, but he's also tangled up in a deep historical conflict, referencing the Guelphs from medieval Italy. See? Every single word can be a rabbit hole leading you to a completely different story.
Okay, so after throwing the stones, our guy gets hit by this sudden, sobering wave of regret. It's like he abruptly realizes the seriousness of what he might have just done. The annotations actually suggest he's experiencing something psychologically very real, a dream of absent-minded transgression. It explains that sudden, intense remorse. It's the kind of guilt that, wakes you up in a cold sweat.
And this right here brilliantly illustrates the core of the whole book. On the left, you see Joyce's incredibly complex, layered language, and on the right, the simple, clear story it's telling. After all those verbal fireworks, what actually happened? He just slouched off. That's it. But what happens next is where the story truly explodes into something huge. The man, our protagonist, HCE, he disappears. But he doesn't just vanish. He becomes part of the landscape itself. He basically dissolves into myth. He leaves behind these traces that are as permanent as ancient history. Stone Age burial mounds and primitive tools. He's no longer just some guy who threw some stones. He's a geological and historical force, literally written into the land. And these monuments, these echoes of his presence, are scattered all across a real map of Dublin. This isn't some far-off fantasy land. Joyce is rooting this myth in a very specific, very tangible place. But this isn't an ending. Not at all. It's more like a hibernation. The text is very, very clear that one day, this sleeping giant, he will return. Joyce is tapping into a really powerful universal myth here. The hero who isn't really dead, just sleeping. And he brilliantly fuses the legend of Britain's King Arthur with Ireland's own mythical hero, Finn MacCool, creating this figure that kind of belongs to everyone. And his return won't be just a man waking up from a nap. No way. It's framed as a force of nature, a cyclical rebirth, just like spring itself, announced by ancient symbols and a sound that will shake the hills.
So where is he now? Well, he is deeply, profoundly asleep. His body is in a state of near total hibernation, a kind of living death.
His mind is completely dormant, and Joyce uses this wonderfully mundane image of cooled porridge just to show how deep this slumber is. There's almost no thought happening in there at all. His breathing is so shallow, it's almost imperceptible. The text puts it beautifully, his puff is but a piff. Just the tiniest, faintest flicker of life remains. In this deep, deep state of hibernation, the chaotic, noisy world outside means absolutely nothing. All the complex words and arguments, they weigh no more to him than the gentle, soothing sound of rain falling on Rathfarnham, a Dublin suburb. He is at peace, but you gotta know, it's a temporary peace.
And the chapter ends with this powerful, challenging question, a voice speaking from the absolute depths of that slumber.
The Latin translates to a direct challenge to us, the reader. Sold to the devil, did you believe me dead? And this is the question the entire book leaves us with.
It's a dare. It's a dare to believe that beneath the complicated, seemingly nonsensical surface of the language in the story, a powerful life force is just resting, just waiting for the right moment to wake up.